Now that Ahsoka Season 1 has completed, it is time where everyone starts to make their predictions for a potential Season 2, and today we are going to be talking about my predictions for what could come in the future. Right off the bat, I just want to say I am very appreciative of the fact that I reached 1,000 subscribers on this channel with my last two videos that I made. It is now the second one that I have been able to reach that milestone in, and I am truly grateful. If there's anybody out here who is subbed and is watching this video, thank you so much. Again, my next goal is to reach 2,000, so that support would be very much appreciated if anyone can come in and show the love. So I do think that we are going to get a second season, and with the finale having aired just the other day, there was a reveal around the Mortis Gods statues that really struck with me, and honestly, it showcased that there was definitely a lot more planned to showcase. Just the other day as well, my buddy Trevor and I had a conversation about our thoughts on the finale and what we thought could happen in the future, and I'll tell you right now, it was a very interesting conversation that I am going to want to give some detail to with regards to my prediction. So firstly, let's start off with that prediction. After having seen the statues of the Mortis Gods, I believe that Season 2 is going to be utilizing that part of the Star Wars lore to get our main characters who are left stranded on Peridia, Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huyang, back to the main galaxy that we know. Of course, Thrawn and his Night Sister witches and Ezra all made it back, but they won't be a part of that part of the storyline for Season 2. If anything, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here, I think everyone who is a part of the main galaxy that we know is going to have significantly less screen time than the people who are in the new galaxy currently on Peridia. Don't get me wrong, I think that they will have screen time, but it's not going to be as much as we hope it will be. We might see someone like Zeb reunite with Ezra, there could be more political games going on within the New Republic, and the threat that they are realizing is a thing, and that could just be it. As far as Thrawn goes, I actually don't think he'll be in it that much. We got 3 full episodes with him in Season 1, which was more than what people theorized it would be, and with Season 2, I think he'll be in it way less. You might get 1 or 2 scenes with him, but overall, I think the crux of the story is going to mainly focus on centering around how our main characters are going to get out of the current situation that they are in, getting back to the original galaxy. This also includes characters such as Shin and Balin, who are still on the loose after what happened in the finale. Shin is going to be taking over a group of raiders that we saw attack our characters, and then Balin, as we see, is clearly searching for something that relates to Mortis, or at least something that relates to the characters of the Mortis arc. Characters that are included in that are the son, the father, the daughter, and then potentially what a lot of people are theorizing could be the very first time we ever see her on screen in Abeloth. I talked to somebody about this on Reddit with regards to the importance of what a planet like Peridia is bringing to Star Wars because of the fact that there are so many big powers implemented on this planet. He said, and I quote, "Peridia is the location of Abeloth's prison. With the death of the Ones in the Clone Wars series, it feels like Abeloth is beginning to break out of the prison that they put her in, and that is who called to Balin, and that is who the Great Mothers are afraid of and why they wanted to get out to Dathomir. In Legends non-canon, Abeloth annihilated the Jedi and the Sith alike, and Luke even teams up with Darksiders to battle her." Now, let's be real here, that is a very solid theory to come up with to describe what it is that Balin was searching for, considering that it is one of the biggest things that people were trying to really figure out during Season 1. No one could really get a lead on what it is that he was searching for the whole time, and it seems like now we might have a potential idea as to what it is. This is one of the many theories that I have seen shot out, since I feel like it is so plausible at this point that it might just happen. And after all the characters that she relates to in the Ones, who are the father, daughter, and son, all connect to Dave Filoni, who created them in the Clone Wars, and Dave Filoni is the one who is doing the Ahsoka show. Again, it all just makes sense. The character of Abeloth, again, has also never really been explored in Star Wars, unless we're speaking about those Legends books. Understandably, I could see why, because she is without a doubt maybe the most powerful character in the entire mythos and lore that is Star Wars, whether it's canon or not. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments below, so put them in as we keep going through this video. Now, another big prediction that I have is that because of the fact that Mortis and those characters connect to the world between worlds, I think we are going to see that used again, and for the sake of teleporting. We already know that the world between worlds has the ability to do that. Depending on what event you might have been a part of, you can travel back to it in some way. We saw Ahsoka do this very thing after she was rescued by Ezra at the end of Rebels Season 4 from her fight with Vader. After that, Palpatine in another portal sees them both, they have to escape, and Ahsoka, through one portal, travels back to underground catacombs of North Malachor. What if that's exactly how we see them get back in the next season, especially when they don't have the coordinates to get back in the T6 shuttle and there aren't any space wells left to use? This actually brings me back to the conversation I was having with my friend Trevor, where he kind of describes the world between worlds as like a Bermuda Triangle type mirror dimension. Basically, once you get there, it can take you to any place in the universe. There is a potential possibility that there is a portal on the planet of Peridia that people can go to access this ability. After all, that is how Ezra did it. He walked through that painting in a portal to the world between worlds. He then did the same thing by exiting out of it like Ahsoka did on Malachor, but it would have to be a location to go to that they've seen to and have been to before. My best guess is that it would also have to be a location that a significant event took place in. There are many of those for the choosing for Ahsoka. I don't necessarily think that Sabine would have any role in choosing that, to be fair. That is also if Ahsoka lives through what could come in Season 2, which is what I want to talk about in a minute. Trevor also explained how the original reason why Ahsoka woke up in one of these previous episodes after dying was because of the fact that she had the daughter imbued in her. That then took her to the world between worlds, which ties in her connection to surviving it. She then went on to meet Anakin, which Trevor also theorizes is a way to connect in the father. He believes that he took up the role of the father after he died, like they talked about in the Mortis arc in Clone Wars. That's how he was able to show up in the world between worlds. At the same time, when we all got those scenes in that episode, you could see clearly that there was a mixture of the light and the dark, which is what the father is. He is of both sides, he doesn't even have one over the other. We saw the light in Anakin when he was giving her lessons at the beginning, but then he would also have the dark in him when he would attack her with the red lightsaber and the Sith eyes, and also have flashes of Vader. I mean, my god man, it just makes so much sense. That was not his Force ghost in the world between worlds, that was the father. It is also kind of a way to mirror the notion that it was the father giving a lesson to the daughter. A lot of people look at Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship that way. He feels like a father figure in some ways to her, in a way with how they treated each other, whether it was through their training or otherwise. If this is really truly how Filoni pictured it, then that is just beautiful storytelling. And if it's not, well then I certainly hope that somebody who does know him and works with him is watching this video and shows him what I said, because it is just so smart. We also have to talk about how this all connects with Balin, because after all, he was the one searching for everything. If my theory is correct, and that means that there is still yet to be a person to take up the embodiment of the sun, and I think that could be Balin. Ahsoka is the daughter, and then Anakin is the father, and then he would be the son, Balin. I think this could also be a great way to bring in Sam Witwer to live-action Star Wars for the first time as an actual character. He voiced many roles in Star Wars, including Darth Maul, Starkiller in the Force Unleashed games, and the Son as well during the Mortis arc. He is a national treasure amongst the Star Wars community, so I think that would be a great way to do it. It could also be a good way for him to come into live-action in the sense that it would allow him to still play another character at some point in the future. The Son has a lot of makeup on him, so you probably couldn't even tell if it was him or not. Now, getting back to my conversation with Trevor, he also mentioned that Balin said that he thought the Night Sisters were leaving because they fear something on the planet that rivals their power. What could possibly rival such great power as theirs? Well, it would probably have to be one of the gods of Mortis. At this point in time, as far as we know, the three main ones are dead, since all three were killed in the Clone Wars arc. That, in my mind, only leaves one left: Abeloth. Now, as far as we know, I don't really know if we truly have all the details about how the Mortis Gods work, so unless something big happens and the Son returns to imbue himself in Balin, I think that I'm going to stick with this theory that I'm going to talk about right now. I think that he is searching for Abeloth to get her power from. He's searching for someone who can end all wars and end all conflicts between the light and the dark. The character of Abeloth has the power to do that, it seems. Now, I'll be fully honest, I am not somebody who knows the full extensive amount of lore on this character, and I'm definitely going to want to read out more about it in the future, but I'll just speak about the things that I think are most important right now. She is known as the Bringer of Chaos and was extremely powerful in the Force, particularly I will say in the dark side of the Force, and with immortality. She was a character that kept peace between the father, son, and daughter and became a part of their family at one point. And at one point she did do something very wrong, and when the father discovered her crime that she committed, he departed the planet with the kids and left her stranded there. At many points in time they had conflict with each other, and during one of those conflicts with each other, there was a time where she did escape out of her being stranded, and the son and daughter defeated her and locked her inside of a prison. Again, there is way more extensive lore to this character, and a lot of it comes from legends and other pieces of reading, books of which I still have yet to read. She is a character that has never been explored in anything else other than that. If I had to make an educated guess based on just those pieces of information that I mentioned, I think that there is a possibility that Filoni will adhere to that notion that she is still in prison, and Balin is being called from her to go and break break her out. There then could be a potential possibility for her to imbue herself in him. After all, I believe that that is something that she can do, as I've read more into some of her lore when making this video. She has the ability to take up the form of some characters in the past, like a senator, for example. This is how powerful that she is. Way more powerful than any other Jedi that existed, and way more powerful than any other Sith. It simply does not matter who it is. Although, now that I think about it, maybe there is a bit of a twist with this. What if she doesn't believe there is enough dark in Balin to imbue herself in him? What if it's actually Shin instead? What if Shin turns full Sith and has more power to the dark side than Balin does? This could be very tempting for someone like Abeloth instead of giving him the power that she gives to her. And again, what if then that would mean that he would get the power of the sun? I feel like if you set up a character like Shin to go down that route, it would just make a lot of sense. Also, just from the standpoint of the fact that maybe you have to be of the same gender to get the power, maybe that's another reason to say why it wouldn't work with Balin to take her power. I'm not really sure, to be honest with that, but that's just something else to think about. This then could also then lead to Abeloth being an even bigger villain to deal with than Thrawn reorganizing the Empire. I really am not sure how that would work, or if it would play out throughout multiple seasons of the show while leading into the new movie that's going to come in 2027 from Filoni, as it's slated right now. So this then begs the question, or questions I guess I could say, how would a character like this be defeated, and also how would it be translated into live action, especially since there's never been a real true depiction of what she actually looks like. I've seen a lot of concept art images floating around the internet of the potential possibilities, but deep down I feel like the only person who does know what she truly looks like is Filoni, and maybe even George Lucas, since he did collaborate with him on the Mortis arc for Clone Wars. A lot of the pictures that I've seen online really showcase her as this very grotesque looking figure with squid-like features and a really grotesque looking jawline, and it just leaves a menacing and scary presence if you look at it long enough. If a character like this is truly the most powerful one in all of Star Wars, it feels like you would need so much more to defeat her. As the one guy that I mentioned earlier in the video from Reddit that I was talking to, he said that there is a storyline in one of the Legends book series where Luke had to team up with the Sith in order to defeat her, which, now that I think about it, I'm going to make another prediction. I think that this is where we might see Luke Skywalker show up. I don't know how much this will be explored through the Ezra storyline of Season 2, since after all, he is a Jedi, and Luke is also a Jedi, and Luke is searching for Jedi for his new Jedi Order that he's building up. Maybe we might see the two meet for the first time. Maybe he finally gets involved in this conflict. Who really knows, honestly? There is so much to theorize here. And again, I want to make this abundantly clear. This is just a theory of speculation. For all I know, I could be completely wrong. I mean, I was very wrong in my initial prediction of what I thought Balin was searching for, and so I'll happily take that one on the chest just like I would with this one if I ended up being wrong. So right now, to recap everything we talked about in this video, we talked about a prediction around where certain storylines are going to be, we also talked about who the main focus will be on, we talked about who the potential main villain will be, and even though, as we know right now, Thrawn is still by technicality the main big bad, Filoni's movie is probably going to center around him being that big bad. We discussed some of the potential characters that could show up and how a lot of these events might play out with some said characters. Just by tying in everything, and then also factoring in how I believe the World Between Worlds will be that thing that is used to bring our characters back, I think I have a pretty solid theory here on my hands if all this does come true with this video. Also, in the case of what I just said, maybe Abeloth becomes the main big bad and Thrawn is just the one that we're focused on right now. I mean, I really truly don't know. This is why I want to hear so much of what you guys have to say down below in the comments. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end it there. I am pretty nerded out right now by everything that I just talked about, so much so that I feel like I need to go and eat a full meal of food to re-energize myself. I hope everyone here really truly did enjoy this video. This was a really fun one to make as a hardcore fan and a passionate one, considering how much I did enjoy the first season of Ahsoka and how much I am looking forward to seeing what they could do in the future with a potential second season. So again, I now want to hear all your thoughts down below in the comments. Give me everything, whether that is you agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. I just want to be able to have a conversation about this with you all. If you did enjoy this, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. The next video that I am going to be working on is an edit around commemorating Ray Stevenson as the character of Balin Skull in the show. I certainly hope everyone here will stay tuned for that when it comes out in the future. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your days and a good weekend, and may the Force be with you.